Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. In today's video, we'll be doing a patch note rundown for patch 12.18 of TFT Set 7.5. Now, this is a pretty big patch. It's a lot of buffs, hardly any nerfs, but nerfs to some of the stuff that is really dominating the meta. So I think you guys will be pretty pleased with this patch. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Of course, as always, we'll be using Mortdog's video as these are posted a couple days before the official notes go live. So I always end up using these. Something to note about that is some of these numbers can be changed a little bit based off of what they are now, but don't expect many changes from this that will go on the official patch notes. Anyways, all right, let's get going. All right, Cannoneer is getting nerfed at 4 and 6. This is direct response to the Aphelios comp. There's also a nerf to Aphelios in here. Point of this, if you guys look at these, and we'll see a lot of small buffs, they don't want the Aphelios comp removed. They just want it tuned down a little bit. I think it only needs a small tune down in a couple places, and I think they're actually hitting it in some pretty good spots. And this is directly for that Cannoneer comp, because this is the only comp right now that commonly runs for Cannoneer at 4 or 6 is this comp. If you run like a standard Graves comp that is not in that Zeke's Cannoneer comp, you typically only run 2. The only time you'd run 4 is if you get an emblem. But yeah, so this is a great place to nerf for that specific comp. Mage is getting buffed right here. Definitely needs to get buffed. I'm glad they're not buffing it at 3. I'm glad they're buffing it on the vertical. Guys, I've been playing a lot of mages lately. I've just been playing a ton of AP because I've been pretty bored of the AD meta. I mean, you know the deal, guys. The meta's been pretty boring, been pretty stale. So I've just been forcing like evokers and mages and lagoons just for fun. And definitely I got 7 mage on stage 3, like high rolled out of my mind, hitting it. I didn't like force that. I had like 2-star mages with mage emblems, and it didn't even feel that strong on stage 3. So definitely needed a buff, and they're also buffing Soam and a couple other things. So I think it's a great place to buff mage, and we'll talk about Soam and stuff like that later. All right, Dragonmancer. Dragonmancer is getting taken down. Another good nerf. I think there's a lot of good stuff in this patch, by the way. I'm actually very pleased with a lot of these changes in very smart places. So buff or nerfing to the 6 and 8 on Dragonmancer, direct response to the Nunu and Lee Sin builds that are very strong, and then the Alshin builds that you play if you don't hit the Nunu 3. Great place to nerf it. And they're also buffing a lot of the weaker Dragonmancers to make Dragonmancer still playable, and also adding a new augment that you guys may have played on PBE that will make Dragonmancers a lot better. The actual Dragonmancers, not the Dragonmancer emblem. So I think this is a great place to nerf it, because this nerfs the actual vertical if you run the emblem. So yeah, I think this is a great place right here. And HP is directly the spot we want to nerf, because that is why Nunu is so strong, because he has that mechanic of if he has more HP than you, he deals 33% more damage amp. They're also taking that down as well. So this is a direct response to Nunu and Lee Sin. Great place to nerf Dragonmancer, especially with the other Dragonmancer changes. All right, Ragewing. Another great change here is that 6 Ragewing. So if you guys don't know, I mean, you guys know that Xayah is super strong, right? But the reason why Xayah is strong is because of Shyvana. It's because Shyvana gets you to that 6 Ragewing, and 6 Ragewing is just crazy strong. Now, Xayah is strong by herself, but she is a 4 cost. She's supposed to be strong. But if you play 2 Ragewing Xayah versus 6 Ragewing Xayah, it is a night and day difference. So I think this is the absolute best place to nerf this comp. So I'm very, very, very happy that the devs are nerfing it right here. May need to get nerfed a little bit more. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that 150 actually puts it in the right spot. Maybe it should be like 135, 125 maybe. We'll see whenever we get there. But because the comp is so strong, because that's so much CC, and then you get to this breakpoint of Ragewing, and it's just crazy. It's very strong. Like sometimes it feels like you don't even have to have a Ragewing or a Rage Bait on your Xayah, and she's just still popping off. All right, these are some changes I'm excited about, especially the Astral one. So Astral start level count for orbs no longer includes duplicate Astral champions. And we'll talk about this. There are no longer breakpoints, and the quality of Astral orbs increases at every star level. This means the average orb quality is up across the board. Item components and full items can drop earlier than before. So let's talk about this. I actually played a lot of Astral at the very beginning of the set. I was rerolling Nidalee a lot. Just thought it was really fun. It was a playstyle I kind of figured out. Didn't work out later on in the patch once people started playing Aphelios. But anyways, whenever I was playing this, you had to memorize these breakpoints. You had to know that the 10-star breakpoint, and putting the duplicate champions in, or you could put loads of duplicates in and automatically get to 15 breakpoint. Like there was this really unintuitive part of Astral, and this like forbidden knowledge it felt like you had to have. I mean, when I was playing Astral, and I would have so many people in my stream chat ask me about like why I'm playing duplicate units, and I have to explain the breakpoints, show them the table. So I hate when traits have this like forbidden knowledge that you need to know in order to play the comp, and when it just feels unintuitive. Like, why would you ever want to play 2 Skarners? Like, why would you ever play 2 Skarners? But you actually want to play 2 Skarners sometimes to hit the intervals. So I'm really happy they're making this change. So the TLDR for this, what you guys really need to know is it's just going to feel a lot better. And as you star up your Astrals, the drops will get better and you don't need to run duplicates. So just a great quality of life change. And I'll show you guys the table in a minute if you guys want to look at it. I'll just put it on screen. You guys can pause it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just put it on screen for a second and you guys can pause it if you want to look at the table. All right, here we go. We got Shimmer Scale. Now, I'm not a big Shimmer player. I'm never a big fan when it's super strong because I don't play a lot of Shimmer. I was happy that Shimmer wasn't very strong, so I'm a little bit nervous about some of these buffs. Crown of Champions probably needed a buff. I know a lot of people will see this and they've gone against that high roll Shimmer game and Crown of Champions was just annihilating them. But it might need the buff. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure about this one. Determined Investor, I don't think needs a 15 gold buff. I know they added the round threshold in this set, made it a little bit harder to hit, but you still do make 2 gold off of diamond hands every round. So I don't think it needs this buff. Actually, I don't think this one is necessary. Needlessly big gem, definitely like it at 2 units per gold. It feels so bad at 3 units per gold. It is actually hard to hit those breakpoints early on in the game, especially even when you're rolling people. Like it feels like when you're like rolling people and you're running needlessly big gem, you should actually get a payoff from it. But sometimes you get like no gold at all. So very happy about that. Not sure if Mogul's Mail needs a buff, but I'm okay with it. Goldmancer, definitely don't think it needs a chance to proc buff. Every time I play Goldmancer, it usually pops off for me. I play a lot of AP, and so I end up playing a lot of Goldmancer every now and then when I have the angle. And it feels pretty strong in that way, but I am happy with this base AP and mana buff. That should feel very nice as well. So if you guys are a big Shimmer player, give Shimmer a try again. I'm not a big Shimmer player, so no skin off my back. Anyways, all right, here is the Astral table. Just gonna show you guys what it looks like. I'm sure there's gonna be an actual document put on Reddit soon or put on Twitter somewhere, so I'm sure you guys can look this up, but if not, you can just pause the video here if you want to go through this loot table. I'm not gonna be going through the loot table. Doesn't mean that much to me. And here's the additional loot table right here if you guys want to pause right there as well, and we're moving on. All right, Champions Large. Now Wukong is getting a buff. Definitely deserved. So it's the spell 80 ratio percentage is going up. So going up by 20 here, going up by 20, and going up by an additional, what is that, 35? Wow, 35%. They really want Bonky Kong to be a thing. Basically right now, I don't even buy this unit. On the current patch, I don't buy him. I don't buy him at all. I'm not ever playing this unit. This unit is trash. He is just there to give me 4 warrior. So I'm so happy this is getting buffed. Definitely needs to get buffed. And this 230% definitely opened up the door to Bonky Kong. So when you have the angle, when you have the infinite range augment, and you guys have, have a sword opener or a bow opener, consider running Bonky Kong on this next patch. I bet it's going to be a build with the right setup. I don't think it's going to be something you can force, but with the right setup, definitely can be good with the infinite range. Infinite range is super good on this guy. All right, Dragonmancer Xayah is getting buffed. I don't know why I said Dragonmancer. 5 right here, 5 and 10. Now it's important to note that this does get amplified later on into the fight as she amps herself up. So even the small buff is more than it looks like, and this is per bolt, I believe. Whenever she fires more bolts, it'll deal more damage. So it is more than it looks like the buff is. At 5 is a lot more than 5. Now, I don't know if she needs this buff. With the right item setup, Xayah actually feels really good. Especially as a tempo unit. I was mainly looking at 2-star because Xayah 2-star with blue buff Morello is insanity. It is so strong. I play a lot of Lagoons and it is so strong. I'm not sure that she needed this buff, but they're trying to give this buff as compensation for Dragonmancer and a lot of other Dragonmancer stuff. So I think maybe Xayah Dragonmancer could be a build if you have the right setup. If you get, you get like a blue buff opener, a rage weight opener, or you get the new augment that we're going to talk about. I think maybe there is an angle actually to play reroll Xayah, but the reason why I'm like a little bit scared about this buff, and a lot of you are going to think that Xayah is like really useless, is that she is the best unit to get you to that in-game Lagoon board, and Soam got buffed as well as Zach, as well as Xayah. So I am a little scared about this 2-star buff for Xayah because 2-star Xayah with the right setup is the freest fast 8s, or just the freest mid game if you have the blue buff Morella setup. So I'm a little bit scared about adding a little bit extra damage to that setup because she already deals so much damage with just her base stats and just the Morella shred. So I'm a little bit scared, but we'll see. All right, Zachary is getting buffed. His heal is getting buffed. Definitely makes him a lot more tanky. Definitely needs a buff. I don't even think about Zach. Like, I just run Zach until... I don't know. I always feel like I should be running Braum, but I just run Zach because he's a Lagoon. So yeah, definitely needed this buff. I think it's a good quality of life right there. Aphelios getting taken down a little bit. Again, it's important to remember that 4 Cannoneer and 6 Cannoneer got nerfed, and Last Whisper is also getting nerfed. So getting nerfed, very small, but in a bunch of different places, which I think is the correct approach with this, because they want this comp to still be playable if you're high rolling. Like if you really have it, but not be hard forced. So big fan of this change. All right, Lux is getting nerfed and buffed at the same time. So they're aiming for power neutral here, but it might actually be a slight nerf because I don't really notice her animation. I've actually played a lot of Lux right now, and I haven't really noticed her animation feeling super bad. So I don't know. We'll see how fast this actually goes, because I think they're aiming for net neutral, and it might just end up being net neutral, but we'll see. But the damage is being taken down by 25. It seems at all levels, and at 3-star by 50. Now, the one I'm looking at a lot is at 2-star, because as I said, again, I play a lot of AP, and I play a lot of like Xayah comps, and I play a lot of Sohm comps. And the way that you end up getting to those comps, the best way is either Xayah or Lux. And let me tell you, if you get a mage setup and you're like moving into a Xayah comp, or moving into, if you guys don't know, then you don't know, or you're moving into Sohm, Lux 2-star fucks, dude. This unit fucks so hard. So I definitely think this nerf was deserved, and we'll see if it stays at power neutral, what that'll look like if we actually get into more of an AP style meta, because I've been playing a lot of Lux, and she really, she does it. So definitely needed the damage nerf. I'm definitely down for, and we'll see what that changes with the animation, the cast animation. All right, Nunu, I think this is what a lot of people wanted to see. 33% down to 20% damage threshold. So that is if Nunu has more health than his target, he gets his bonus damage. So this is going to make it a lot harder for Nunu to just like one-shot a dragon. As well, comboed with, he is going to have less HP because of the Dragonmancer nerf. So yeah, I think this is a great place to nerf Nunu. Definitely awesome. I think this, if you have 3-star Nunu, Dragonmancer emblem, dragon, all the good stuff, it's still going to be strong. The throat goat will still be throating. He'll still be goating. You know what I'm saying? But I think if you're hard forcing this at 2-star, this is going to be a much harder play style. Definitely a great place to nerf. I don't think it's going to be hard forceable anymore unless you're uncontested. Again, you get the emblem and you hit the 3-star. So I think Nunu will have to actually be a 3-star comp now if you want to play it, which is definitely the place that it should be. And also bug fix, Nunu's amplified bite no longer scales multiplicatively with Giant Slayer's damage amp. Cool. All right, Zeri is getting buffed. Very cool. And this is on the actual spell damage. So this is the actual like lightning that comes out at the end. So if you guys want to try some Zeri, I love playing Zeri. She's one of my favorite units. We'll be seeing some more AP style builds. I mean, a lot of times you play Zeri right now, you go like IEJG, so you can kind of get the double effect with the laser and with the AD amp on Cannoneers. So guys, give her a try on next patch. It'll be interesting. It's really hard for me to make meta predictions, by the way, because they're just buffing everything. So I think the meta will be so different. It's so hard for me to make meta predictions, but go ahead and give her a try. I know Ramblin already likes playing her, but basically no one else on the server plays her unless you have Triforce and you have the perfect setup. Okay, Volibear is getting buffed. Definitely deserved. There's like nobody playing Volibear, and as well as they are nerfing Dragonmancer down again, and in compensation, they're buffing the weaker Dragonmancer units. So I think it's fine to buff the Volley. Now it's getting buffed quite a bit at 3-star, so we'll see how that works out. But again, they did nerf Dragonmancer. All right, Zipster is getting buffed by 5 AD. We'll see how that works out. I do really like this bug fix. I think this is a great little buff. I've actually started to see people play a lot more Zippy lately. I know Keen really likes playing Zippy, and I watch him play it a lot, and sometimes it pops off. Sometimes I watch Zippy full on one-shot my upgraded carry if he has actual carry items. So I'm glad they're not going super heavy with the buffs. I'm glad they're going with a small buff here. And then a nice little bug fix here. Zippy should more reliably attack a spell target. I mean, you guys have probably seen it so many times. Zippy does his somersault to the back line. He hits somebody, and then he just turns around and starts fighting someone else. So this is definitely a great quality of life change to where he actually will function a little bit more like kind of like an assassin. So maybe try itemizing Zippy on next patch. I don't think it's going to be ability force or anything like that, but when you are playing around Zippy, probably will feel better with items on next patch, or should for sure feel better with next patch. All right, Deja. Now, before I go into this, if you're just looking at the numbers, they're aiming for power neutral here. They don't really want to change Deja, and they're just making Deja feel a lot more intuitive, and they're undoing the AD removal rework, which I think is awesome, because now when you take Stand United, it doesn't feel like a useless augment on Deja. Like a lot of times you take Stand United, because it's a great augment. It's the best thing you're offered. And then like you're playing Deja, and then it just doesn't feel nearly as good. You're stacking Rage Waves. Sometimes you build IE, and you're not getting any of the IE benefit on your auto attacks other than your passive spell. So I'm very happy about that. I think it's a great change. Now, some certain Deja setups will be a little bit weaker. Like if you're specifically just going like if you're only going AP, or you're going like Archangel JG, Archangel JG Rageblade, this is definitely hurts your build, right? But if you're building like Giant Slayer, it's probably power neutral. If you're building Rageblade, it's probably power neutral. If you're building, you know, if you get Stand United and stuff like that, then it's stronger. If you're building Hodge, then it's actually stronger like this. But so I don't think this actually changes Deja's build. It just will change like the power levels of some of the builds, because right now already you kind of just build based off of your Mirage or based off just whatever items you get to play, right? But they're aiming for power neutral here. I think it's a great place to change it. All right, Show You is getting buffed. Now, these buff changes aren't super big, but let's just go into them real quick. Get a 5% on 1 and 2 star. Definitely good. Definitely good. You might Show You just instantly dies. I mean, this unit has felt like this unit is not real right now. So definitely a great place to buffer right here. And then is actually going to deal some more damage to the spell AD percentage as well. I don't think this changes his build at all. So don't like look at this and think you need to change his build. Build should probably be about the same, which is like BT, Edge of Night, Giant Slayer, or you can do Titans in there somewhere. Those are pretty much the items you'll still be playing around. Now, one important thing to note is that they buffed a lot of the AP comps. So a lot of AP got buffed. You know, Volibear, Karma's getting buffed. Asol's getting buffed. Soam's getting buffed. The Lagoon line got buffed. The Dragonmancer line the actual Dragonmancer line, not the emblem line, got buffed. That's a lot of AP getting injected in the meta. Mages got buffed. So having this dragon that's a mystic should do a little bit better into this meta. Now, Jade still has a problem that they don't have like a big unit or like a mid-game carry like Anivia. So it still does have like its vertical still has an issue. And with removal of Nico, I mean, you just replace Nico with Jace, they function almost very similarly. So the comp still does have issues, and the fact that you clump a lot when you play this comp, and everything in the set is AoE. Still does have its problems, but I think Show You will find his way in the meta, especially if people are playing a lot of these AP comps. Like Deja should still be good. A lot more people are going to be trying Soam on this patch. Asol got buffed. Alshin and Shyvana are still great. Mages got buffed. So I think Show You will finally find his spot in the meta. So I think give Show You a try next patch. Okay, Darkflight Swain is getting buffed. I don't know why I said Darkflight. 1% on missing health. They're trying to go light here because they don't want Immortal Swain to just be running over games. Now, it's important to know this 1% does apply on all of his crows. I believe he throws at 8 crows. Is that the number they settled on now? They changed the number a little bit on PvE. So I think it's 8 crows. So it's actually 1% bonus on all of those crows. So it is more than just 1%. This is a nice little buff. Definitely the place I want them to buff because I don't want Swain to just be killing people instantly. Definitely his build is going to be like Archangel Morello if you want to carry him. So be looking out for that. All right, Soam, it's getting buffed. This is just the explosion damage, and I think this is a great place to buff Soam, actually. And with the mage buffs, maybe the build will be different. Maybe there'll be some actual mage Soam builds. So at this time, if you want to play Lagoon, you play around Lagoon. You play around 6 and 9 Lagoon, and you play around 3 mage. I play a lot of Lagoon. I'm like one of the only Iowa players who plays a lot of Lagoon. I think this is actually a great place to buff Soam if you're going to buff Soam. I'm not even certain Soam even needs a buff with the mage line getting buffed, with Kaisa getting buffed. A lot of people are just playing Soam wrong. They're just not playing. Basically, you play Soam like it's Renata. You play it as a Morello applier. But now that they're buffing mages, I think there might actually be an alternative style build where you play Soam and mages, and you can build and you actually invest more into damage on Soam. Because right now, it's just the better playstyle is usually the Morello tech. Is usually the better playstyle. But I will be trying out some more damage focused builds in Lagoon as well. So I think damage might be pretty solid in Lagoon with this buff, but I'm not sure how mages are going to look. I've never tried to run Soam in an actual mage comp. I only run it in Lagoon, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, keep an eye on this. I definitely think Lagoons are going to be very good next patch. Not like something you hard force every game, because I still think Lagoon is a very difficult build to play. I think it's needs the right setup. I have a guide on it if you guys are interested in that. But it's already strong. It's already strong in the right setup, and now it's going to be even stronger in the right setup. So when you get the opener, when you get the setup, when you get the augments, Soam is going to hit like a truck on next patch. So be looking out for that. All right. Aurelian Soul is getting buffed. up by 25, up by 25, and ascended damage. I'm not a big Astral player. Basically, I look at Astral as just Alshin's little bro. So I'm happy Astral's getting a buff here. And 25 is a nice little light buff, and ascension damage going up. We'll see how this works out. I'll actually consider buying this unit now. Yeah, basically, it just felt like Alshin's little bro. So yeah, be looking out for Astral next patch. I think Astral will actually be pretty good. Not something you like hard force, but like you won't be super upset when you don't hit the Alshin, but you hit the Astral. You know what I mean? All right, Last Whisper is getting nerfed. Definitely deserved. Last Whisper is the best shred item. It's not even close. Even with Throat Goat running around, you still have to build Last Whisper because there's so many Cavalier comps. You have to build it for the Cavalier comps, and then the Cavalier comps feel very weak in response to the Last Whisper. So everybody builds Last Whisper because Cavaliers are server meta. Because we got Nunu, we got Xayah comp runs Cavalier frontline, Deja runs Cavalier frontline, and then there's like Protector Val comps, like for mid game when you don't have the Zeeks if you're playing Aphelios, that guy. So everyone builds Last Whisper. And then after you build Last Whisper feels so strong versus those players, but you have to build it in response to the Cavaliers. So I think this is a great place to nerf it. So even if we're in a Cavalier meta, this item you'll still build it, right? And it will still be good because right now, when you build Last Whisper, it feels too strong against the players that you want to build it against. So I think it's a great place to nerf it. Just down a little bit right there. Good to go. All right, augment's large. Cutthroat is getting buffed, so the mana reeve on this is an assassin augment is going up by 15%. I think this is fine. There's not many assassins in the set. There's really not like a vertical assassin comp that you really run. Most of the time you only run 2 Sin, so I think this is great to buff right here. Good buff. I'm not a big I hate Sins, but I think this is a good buff actually. Dragonmancer Conference. So this was on PBE if you guys played it. So it's a silver tier augment. Every 2 rounds, dude, this is kind of broken for a silver tier, I think. Every 2 rounds, a random Dragonmancer appears on your bench, gain a Xayah. So essentially, if you guys want to know how to use this augment, you take this augment. The only way you really play it, you can take it for like econ, but really the only way you actually play it is you just 3-star everything. It's like running Mage Conference from last set. Now, this is what I'm saying. If you get this setup and Karma and Xayah got buffed, you can look for a Karma or Xayah carry composition. I will be trying to play some of these. I think it'll be very fun. I had a lot of fun playing this. I mean, you just get the 3-star everything. You get that big dopamine hit. And they buffed a lot of the weak Dragonmancers. So I think you guys should give this a try if you get it offered. Might end up being broken. We shall see. All right, Hero and Training getting buffed. This is the other Dragonmancer augment, so that's pretty nice. Lucky Gloves basically is the worst augment in the entire game. At least that's the way it feels to me. I never take this. And it's because of this stuff, and hopefully they're fixing it here. So frontline 80 champs will now receive better selection of items. Yeah, so like I instantly, I told myself I was never running this augment because I forget who I was watching play. I was watching someone play. I think I was watching Soju play in an in-house. And someone he was playing against, they had Lucky Gloves, and they had Lucky Gloves on their siphon, and it rolled Rageblade, Static Shiv. Now, let me tell you, is that a great siphon setup? Rageblade, Static Shiv, and a TG? Are those good items? No, they're not good items. Now always grants full items even before player level 7. Very nice. Very, very, very good quality of life. Also makes it easier to take this if you're playing reroll composition, so that's very good. Removes some weaker options to improve the average strength of the augment. Fantastic. Great. All right, Ricochet, bounce damage reduction. I probably still won't be taking this augment unless I already have like 2 TGs on my team. So I would only take this augment if you like have loads of gloves. Or TG's already built. All right, Ricochet, bounce damage is getting nerfed. So another nerf to the Aphelios composition. Great place to nerf it as well. So all these little small nerfs, very good. Verdant Veil CC immunity duration going up to 20 seconds. Basically, this augment is one of the worst augments in the game. If you just look at the stats, one of the worst prismatics, at least. Of the like general variety, not the trait specific ones. It is not good. So I am happy for this buff. We'll see how this works out. Weak spot armor penetration 20% down to 10%. I think it's a great place to nerf this because like you don't ever take this for the armor penetration. You take it for the anti-heal. If you're taking it for the armor penetration, you should be taking it for the anti-heal, by the way. The anti-heal aspect is so good. And then if you take this and then combo with Last Whisper, it's just insane because they do stack in a way because the actual mechanic says ignore. At least unless unless they're not actually going off of the wording, which usually the way Riot does stuff with League and with TFT is the wording matters a lot. And weak spot, I believe, says actually on the weak spot, it says ignore. So it should stack with Last Whisper, which says shred or penetration. Even though he put penetration on the slide, doesn't necessarily mean that, but I believe it is ignore and it does stack. So this is a great place to nerf it. Because basically you take weak spot for the anti-heal, and this is just extra cream on top. And this is also a response to like how much this plus Last Whisper just invalidates Cavalier frontline. So very good change right there. Very good. We are still in it. All right, champs small 1, 2, and 3 cost. So Karma is getting buffed at the 3-star. As I said, I've been saying it the whole time. I think it's a pretty big buff. And Mort Dog, when I was watching his rundown, he talked about it too. He was saying he's a little bit scared of this buff as well with the other Dragonmancer changes, with the augment, with Xayah getting buffed. I mean, Xayah and Set's getting buffed makes that reroll viability a lot better. And they're buffing Jax and they're buffing Wukong. I think Karma reroll is going to be strong in the right setup. You get some Dragonmancer augments or some Jade augments, and you get a blue buff opener, or you get like blue battery augments, and I'm thinking this stuff's going to be pretty good. So I think keep an eye out for Karma reroll, guys. Set is getting buffed, a little bit extra on top right there. I'm not a big Set player. I think that comp is really boring. But again, this is another buff to Karma comp. But if you guys like playing Set, maybe give him a try next patch. Lee Sin getting nerfed a little bit. I don't think this takes Lee Sin out of the meta. I think Lee Sin has been a little too strong. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's a player who's like top 10 who's been forcing this all set. Talk about Wi-Fi. I played this comp a lot on PBE. It felt unbelievably broken and it had like almost no changes. So definitely, I think it's a good place to nerf Lee Sin. Just make him cast a little bit less. I think it's good. All right, Nasus is getting buffed as well. The 3-star is getting buffed just on damage and spell health. We'll see. I'm not a big Nasus player. I don't really know how to interpret that change, if that makes it viable. I'm not sure. I mean, they are buffing Jax and Wukong, which are units a lot of times you reroll at the same time as Nasus. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody give it a try. I'm not a big Nasus player. All right, Jaximus getting a small buff. Nice. I think Jax is actually great. I'm not sure if he needs this buff, but they're just trying to buff the whole Jade line to make it easier to play. But I think Jax is already an amazing unit, and I guess I'm fine with that buff. That's fine. All right, items large. So these are all Radiant items. So Radiant Gargoyle, Regen is getting buffed. Cool. Radiant Sunfire Cape, yeah, probably need to be nerfed. This item is broken. This is an insta-cop if you don't already have anti-heal and you get it in the early game, especially. It's insta-cop. This shit is so good. All right, Radiance Protector's Vow getting buffed 4-second duration, cool. And then 5 armor and MR going up. I'm fine with that. I never really liked taking this one. Doesn't really feel like that big of a step up from the regular one, so I think that's a good buff. All right, augment small Dragon Imperialist, execute 15% to 18%. This augment feels awful to me. In like the only time I ever take this is if I'm playing like Alshin solo carry or if I'm playing Deja, and it doesn't feel good. So I think this is a good buff. Pandora's Bench, getting a little bit extra gold to make it a little bit more of an attractive option to take in the early game. So like I've tried taking this as just like I have nothing better to take, and I take it as like an econ augment, and it never feels good. This shit only feels good when I'm like I haven't angled a 3-star, a 4-cost, or a dragon or something like that. It's the only time it feels really good to me. So I'm happy they're doing a little bit of buff here. I think that is very nice. All right, now we're on bug fixes. Now this tab is very important. If you guys don't normally watch patch rundowns, bug fixes are very important. All right, Darkfight now sacrifices the champion in the hex when Darkfight is activated from a unit being auto placed onto the board at the end of the shopping phase when you are not playing a fully filled out army. Now sacrifices the champion in the hex when Darkfight is activated. Oh, okay. So if you just don't have anybody in the hex and it auto places someone in the hex, well, that's pretty cool. That's good quality of life, I guess. Now shows the sacrifice hex and chain visual effects for away players and ghost properly. Very good. Fix a rare issue where ghost armies could have multiple sacrifice champions, thus gain multiple items. Pog. Okay. Nyla no longer. So this Nyla stuff is really important. So I was noticing a lot. I've been playing a lot of Nylux. I've been playing a lot of Lagoon. And I've been noticing a lot of Nyla feels very buggy. And a lot of these bug fixes are nerfs. So big sad for us Lagoon players. But definitely needed. Definitely needs this quality of life chance. All right. Nyla no longer resets if her target dies from a damage from other than her spell. I did notice that happening quite a bit. She would die, like a Soam would like pop someone at the same, like right after she cast, and she would still cast. So yeah, definitely needed to be fixed. On kill, Nyla now recast on the nearest unit rather than the farthest. I was talking about this on stream yesterday because I was like, I don't know, it feels like my Nyla always ends up going to the, even if I'm on the wrong side, goes to the right spot. So this will fix it. So you actually need to position Nyla on the correct side for the targets that you want to assassinate. Cool. Nyla now properly recast when she kills a cornered target. I have noticed this one as well. She'll kill a cornered target and she'll just stand there for a second and do nothing. So very good. This is actually a buff right here. Nyla's damage should now line up better with her animation. Cool. Great quality of life change. So overall, this is actually kind of a nerf to Nyla, but definitely deserved. Maybe not nerf is deserved, but these changes need to happen because Nyla does not behave how her tooltip says that she should behave. All right, Mirage Pirate's Bounty no longer grants a chest after NPC rounds. Oh, wow, it was doing that? Oh, wow. Okay. Pandora's Bench and Recombobulator will now pull the correct number of units from the pool when transforming to two-star and 3-star units. Coolio. Coolio. All right, the following augments will no longer be offered to players who took Built Different: Age of Dragons, Ancient Archives, Dragon Imperialist, and Dragon Soul. Can you believe the Ancient Archives? Oh, okay. Ancient Archives 1 was already blacklisted. It's because they added the second one. Okay, I was about to flame the devs for a second, but I'll give them a break. All right, and then Hyperroll. I don't care about Hyperroll, but fixed a bug where you would gain extra experience during the Treasure Dragon round. Coolio. Anyways, that is the patch note, guys. I don't have a big meta prediction because this patch is so big. It's really hard for me to predict a meta, and especially it being the second patch. I think if you guys like playing Xayah, you can still play Xayah probably. That comp has not changed a whole lot. I don't think you should be forcing Aphelios anymore. I don't think you should be forcing Nunu anymore. If you like forcing Deja, you can probably do next patch. We'll see how that works out with the other AP comps. I think if you're a Lagooner, Lagoon got buffed quite a bit, but you need to know how to play the Lagoon setup. I think there'll be some mage builds that'll pop up. Maybe give Astral a try whenever you're looking for Al Shin. You get offered Astral. Maybe give him a try if you weren't already trying him. I think maybe give a Zeri reroll comp a try, especially when you have Triforce and it's like Cannoneer Namzi. I think definitely give it a try, or Evoker because you run Seraphine. That can be good. You like duo carry or like triple carry Seraphine, Zeri, and Namzi with if you have Triforce. Maybe give that a try. Consider itemizing Zippy. Sometimes I don't think you force the items onto him, but if you have to itemize Zippy, should feel a lot better. I think give Karma reroll a try, especially if you have like Blue Battery, or if you have Dragomancer Conference, or any type of Jade augments you get offered in the early game, and you get and you have a lot of copies of Karmas already, because they buff Karma, they buff Wukong, they buff Set, they buff Kaisa, they buff Jax, all the units you'd be rerolling if you're playing a Karma reroll style. So maybe give that a try as well. I think those are all the big hits I have for this, but I think it's going to be a great patch. I mean, there's probably going to be some degen thing that'll come out and make the patch great, but I think the direction of this patch is great. I'm very excited about the way they did this patch. But who knows what will happen? There might be some crazy degen stuff, but I do really, really, really like the direction of it. So anyways, guys, that is it for the patch rundown. Hope you learned a lot, and good luck on the next patch. If you guys want more of me, I stream at twitch.tv/TradingTFT. You can follow me there. I'm really trying to grow my Twitch, and I also post a lot on Twitter, twitter.com/TradingTFT. You can follow me there as well. You can also subscribe here, like the video, comment the video. Helps me out so much on YouTube. If you want to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help me out quite a bit. But anyways, that is it for the video. Hope you have a fantastic day, fantastic night, wherever you are. I just hope you're doing well. See ya. Bye.